And after the malting, what else did you guys move on to in Germany?
We got the train down to Munich, and we had 4 days at Oktoberfest.
Which you've done before, apparently.
Yeah, I've we've both been to Oktoberfest before.
Yeah. That was my 6th Oktoberfest.
Your sixth? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's, to me, Oktoberfest or Wiesn it's my favourite beer festival in the world, and I get to go to a lot, and I love it because it's very, it's just so traditional, and, you know, I've been going for over 20 years and it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
It just hasn't changed. It is literally like it's the same. Although this time I dropped like $600 on lederhosen and the hat. So I had to make sure that I looked a bit, and you already had lederhosen. So we were all wearing lederhosen. Emma was wearing a dirndl. And so we looked awesome. And so we just tried to blend right in. I bought a set of Wyman socks in Bamberg, so I had my Wyman socks on and my lederhosen. And it was really good. But, you know, it's Oktoberfest, you know, as a beer festival, it's really difficult to explain to someone, particularly an Aussie, that the sheer scale of it. A lot of people think that it's just one location and one beer hall, but there are actually, now there's 13 big beer halls, and there's another dozen small beer halls in this one precinct, which is purpose-built for Oktoberfest, and it takes 3 months to construct all of the beer halls. So the smallest of the big beer halls seats 5,500, and the biggest of the beer halls, 14,500 people.
That's monstrous.
And it's phenomenal. It's about 1.5 kilometres, 2 kilometres long, end to end. And, you know, it's in 4 days that we were there. It's impossible to go to all the beer halls. We did try, but it's just the scale is just phenomenal. And so, you know, when you go on the first day, the mayor, he goes into the Schottenhamel beer hall and he taps the first keg, and then everyone, you know, can start drinking beer. And then the second day when we went in, they have the Rifleman's Parade, and it's very, you know, family oriented and that sort of thing. It's really well done.
And how many days does it go for?
17.
17.
I've done all 17 one year.
How did you get through that?
Nope.
No. Well, you live to tell the tale,
yeah,
obviously.
I did live to tell the tale. I was not very well. I had to not have a beer for 3 whole days. Eh?
Just 3 days.
In terms of pure scale of beer, they say about 8 million litres of beer is consumed in that 17 days.
Oh, and we were thinking about, so the first day we were sitting at the Lowenbrau Beer Hall, right? And we were sort of thinking, how do they actually get that amount? You're talking 50,000 litres of beer a day per beer hall, right? And it's just a phenomenal amount of beer, right? So if you think about that in kegs, what's 1,000?
The tanks behind
kegs?
us here are 3,000.
Yeah, so these ones here are 3,000 litres. So you're talking like, you know, a 25 or 50,000 litre tank of beer. And it had never dawned on me before, even though I'd been to Oktoberfest lots of times, the actual logistics of how the beer gets into your glass. And it was like Florian, wasn't it, who told us that every beer hall except for the Augustiner is they have underground tanks like at the petrol station.
Oh, right.
And then at night time they have semi-trailer come along and it hooks up to a hydrant and pumps beer in, and then they tap it out of there and that sort of thing. And I went, well, that kind of makes sense, you know. That makes it more, logistically possible, you know, except for the Augustiner. But the Augustiner beer hall does their beer in 400-litre oak casks, and they're actually lugging them around. But they've got the machines to lug them around. But that's the best beer, by the way. So
it just must be a procession of just these trucks coming in and filling up and going back, filling up and coming back.
Yeah, well, I think it closes at 10 o'clock each night. And then
it opens at 9 in the morning.
Once they get everyone out, in come the trucks to fill up the beer
Someone's
again.
night job, it'd be night shift to go and fill the beer tanks up.
It's going in and filling it up. And in relation to like just getting back to sort of the craft side of things, is there like you're saying you went to a place, they did their 2 beers, that's what they've done for 700 years. Do you see a large variety of beers, or is it a volume sort
Do you
of
mean
thing?
like in Germany?
At Oktoberfest, do you have quite a
There's no craft beer at
No?
Oktoberfest at all.
No.
So if you want to be a brewer and have your beer at Oktoberfest, you have to be from Munich, or within a certain radius of Munich and that sort of thing. So the only breweries that you see at Oktoberfest is Löwenbräu, Spaten, Augustiner, Hacker Shaw,
Hofbrauer.
That's it. It's only 5 or 6. Did I say Spaten? I said
Yeah.
Spaten. Yeah, that's it.
Yep, and they would do pretty well over those
even though
17
there's
days.
well, the thing is,
Yeah.
even though there's like 13 beer halls, the beers get repeated.
Yep.
And there's only really one beer.
Yeah.
It's just
So
just their
each
Oktoberfest
hall
beer.
have their Oktoberfest beer they make specially for the fest, and they all have to be of fest strength, which is around 6%.
Yeah.
So
And then you're drinking it by the litre.
They come in a litre.
It's so the glass is called a stein, but you can't ask for a stein, but you ask for a Mass, which is spelled M-A and then the B that's pronounced like a double S. And so you say, zwei Mass bitter. Or if you're Matt, it's like Sieben Mass bitter.
And are you going around smashing the steins together? Are you doing all that sort of thing?
Yeah. There's a lot of that, a lot of singing, a lot of dancing.
Yeah.
But that's the motto of Oktoberfest. So after the mayor taps the keg or taps the first cask at Oktoberfest on opening day, he says the beer's tapped, and the motto of Oktoberfest is live and let live, eat and drink well.
So it's a big culture thing too. Like obviously we have our cultures with beer and craft, has its own culture. That's what it's all about as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge cultural event. That's why I enjoy it so much. It's just, you'll meet someone new at your table every day, and you'll have an interesting conversation about something completely random. And it's so, serendipitous. There's a lot of adventures to be had, and you'll never have the same one twice.
Yeah.
That's why I love going back to it. Whether it's like, okay, so today there's a massive sideshow alley there. There's like all these rides and roller coasters and that sort of thing. And so we decided one afternoon, let's just go for a walk. And then in the sideshow alley, there's like these tents, and they're like, do schnapps. And so we're doing like schnapps, and we did what was the one we did with sherbet? That was just sherbet and vodka. Oh, man. It was just, you put like a whole packet of sherbet in your mouth and then a shot of vodka, and then you just like like that. And then, and then you try and swallow it, and then off you go again, and off go do a ride and that sort of thing. And
It'll wake you up on day 13.
Yeah. And so the good thing was, right, is that there's a lot of the smaller beer halls around. They're not really a beer hall. They're like an outdoor sort of mini beer garden. And there was this one on, I think it was the second last or last day, where it was across from this old 1920s get a Hessian sack, go down the slippery dip sort of thing. And to get up it was this conveyor belt that goes quite quick. So if you can imagine people being on a conveyor belt after having a few beers trying to go up. Anyway, Matt decided to give it a go. How'd that go for you, mate?
Not very well. I got some pretty severe carpet burn that needed some treatment. But that's all part of the adventure.
It's pretty good.
We'll try and get that footage up then. Good question for both of you. I'll get Hendo to you first. What's your best Oktoberfest story that you can remember?
Look, this year, I have to say, was pretty memorable because, I got to share the experience with some good friends. I finally went and bought some Lederhosen, which I'd been talking about for ages, and even talking about going to Oktoberfest. I've been meaning to go for years, and before you know it, a decade's passed. And so, I'm grateful for the opportunity to make it back this year. For me, it was good sort of going there with Matt and Emma. It was Emma's first time to Oktoberfest.
Yep.
So, she was just taking it all in and smiling from ear to ear, so it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Every year's different.
Yeah, something different every year. Yeah. And what about yourself, Matty?
Oh, there's just so many interactions you have with people.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic. That's probably my favourite part is just you're drinking beer and everyone is just friends and in such a good mood. Like it's not all about like drinking too much beer either. Like obviously people get a little bit
It's about singing songs.
It's about singing songs and just this great atmosphere.
Like Purple Rain.
You just have conversations with people from all over the world that are there for basically the same reason. Of course, you meet a lot of the locals, which is great. Try and talk bad German with them.
Yeah.
That's probably my favourite part, is just being on a table with someone, like you're all crammed in together and just meeting people and having a conversation about where they're from, why they're here. And everyone has a unique story. Yeah. And it's just fantastic.
It's such a serendipitous experience. You can't describe it until you just go and do it. You can have a plan to go do something on a particular day at Oktoberfest, but as soon as you walk in there, all the plans are just go to pot, and you just have a great time. And that's kind of how we sort of, ran into Florian from Bathhouse Hops, right? It was, we got, or Matty got connected up with Florrie at through the local Hop Products Australia rep, Mike Capaldo. Thank you, Michael Capaldo. And basically WhatsApp messages, and he said, "Yeah, come and have a beer at the the Augustina," and he had this like table up on the mezzanine in the Augustina thing, and we went and had lunch and had a few beers and that sort of thing, and he was like, he said, "Oh, it's hop harvest at the moment. You should come up to the hop harvest. It's only like 40 minutes out of Munich." I said, we've got a car. So yeah. So that's how we sort of wound up at the hop harvest, which was pretty cool.